we go to chapel and we would sing songs and a frog to dissect in the classroom. Hi guys! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Home Sweet Classroom. Thank you so much for coming by and visiting me here in Home Sweet Classroom. My name is Mariatul Safitri, and if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for coming by and visiting me here and joining me in my teaching journey. My channel is all about teaching classroom stuff and lifestyle. I love sharing with you guys and being a part of this YouTube family community. Today's video is going to be a collaboration video with a bunch of other amazing, great teachers, all put together by the Spanglish Maestra. Thank you so much. Big shout out to you. Thank you so much for putting this together. I have linked the playlist down in the description box below for you guys to go and check them out and go and show them some love and support as well after you've finished watching my video. I'm going to be sharing with you guys a memory jog of my 4th grade experience. Guys, I'm going to be so embarrassed with some of these pictures. I'm going to be sharing with you my elementary experience of when I was in 4th grade, because I'm currently teaching a 4th grader. This past year I taught 4th grade, and we have put together some questions for you guys that share our experience in whatever grade we're teaching. So down in the description box, you're going to find some other teachers that will be sharing their experience in either elementary, middle school, or even high school. So this should be a very interesting and exciting video, embarrassing for, and maybe so much fun for others as well. So let's go ahead and get this video started. I'm going to be answering a couple questions using my phone. I have them all up on my phone, and I'll be sharing with you guys all of my experience in 4th grade. Let's go ahead and get these questions started. Now, the very first question is, describe your 4th grade classroom. Okay, so I want to back up just a little bit and tell you guys about the school I attended. The school I attended was very, very small. It was part of I attended a religious school, which is also part of my belief. Growing up, I was Seventh-day Adventist, and so were my parents. So we went to a church that was Seventh-day Adventist, and we also had like a school that was combined with the church, and pretty much everyone attended the school as well if they went to church there, because there was a lot of help for tuition, and just a lot of parents believed that it would be beneficial for them to also go to a religious church that had the same beliefs. So the school was very small though, and it went from elementary all the way to 12th grade, and I only attended my elementary years there. So going back to the question, which was describe my 4th grade classroom. So I had a couple classrooms actually. I switched classrooms for different subject areas. So I had a math teacher in one classroom. I had my homeroom teacher in one classroom. And then I switched out also for English and social studies and science, I believe it was, or maybe science was in my homeroom. So I switched out a couple times, and I also had a music classroom as well. And I think that was about it. And of course, PE was just outside or in the gym or open area that we had there. We actually didn't have a gym, like an actual gym with a basketball court and everything. We didn't have that. It was the auditorium. No, sorry, not the auditorium. It was like just an open space where it was the cafeteria, where everybody got there in the morning. I don't know what it would be called. Like, we just all get there and wait till school started. It was also the PE area. So that space was like a multi-purpose space, and it was in the center of the whole school. So that's where like our gym was. And then of course we'd go outside for like PE and stuff. But I switched out rooms in per subject or in subjects, and then because we switched out rooms, we also had lockers, which was in the far back of the school. And yeah, so it was kind of interesting. My classrooms, my favorite classroom was my homeroom classroom, because there was windows all on the back, and it's just like, I think I really liked that. I really enjoyed like the view, and it was going toward the front of the school, so it was like in the parking area, and there was like a bunch of trees there too, or bushes, and it was just really nice when the windows were open. I loved how the lighting came in. It was just very comfortable, and it made me feel good. So I think that's probably where I get my wants for windows in a classroom as a teacher now. So and then my other classrooms were just, there was long tables. So in my homeroom classroom, there were desks. And then the other classrooms that I was in, there were long tables. I think that was because that teacher switched out from middle school and high school. So they didn't have desks, they had long tables. And we went to see them for social studies and math and English. So those teachers kind of alternated throughout the whole school with students. And yeah, so, and then there was of course the whiteboard in the front, and the classroom sizes were average. They weren't too big, they weren't too small. So what I basically remember is just having different classrooms that I would switch out in, and I liked that at the time. I don't remember like complaining about it. I liked it, and it was just, I kind of felt like responsible because I had my own locker, and it was just kind of nice switching classrooms around. Okay, so question number 2 is describe your 4th grade teachers. Okay, so I had a couple of 4th grade teachers because, like I said, we would switch classrooms, and so I had a couple of 4th grade teachers. I remember my math teacher, I remember my homeroom teacher, I do remember my social studies teacher and English teacher. All of them that I remember, I had good memories. Sometimes I would struggle, and a lot of times the teachers would complain about me because I talked a lot, surprisingly. That I was a big chatterbox when I was younger, and I do remember my teachers complaining that I did talk a lot. So it was interesting to go back to those memories that my teachers would say that I talked a lot. And I remember my struggling in math. My 4th grade teacher was very much of like an old school style. She would teach up at the front of the room, and I just didn't feel like I had a lot of learning experiences from that year. I remember my social studies teacher had a lot of wealth of knowledge. I remember he would bring in a lot of the real world into the classroom, and I do remember enjoying that teacher and going to that classroom. Yeah, and I do remember music as well. The music classroom, I remember really enjoying going to use the instruments, and that music teacher would always change things around, and it was just a lot of fun to be able to go and express ourselves with music and singing and a little bit of dancing. Having those instruments was just a lot of fun. So the next question is something I remember learning that year. Something I remember learning is mainly the experiences that were hands-on. I don't have like very specific lessons or ideas that I remember from that year. I just remember like some of the hands-on lessons that I could remember back, but to be specific, I don't really remember that much. One year I remember they brought in a live or a dead frog, and we were to dissect it, but I can't remember if that was like my 4th grade year. I want to say that was a 4th grade experience, but I do remember that we were like dissecting a real frog, and it was an experience. So I remember learning about the animals and reading about them, researching them, and that was something that I do remember learning. Okay, so the next question is something interesting, memorable about that year. A lot of the things I remember that are like memorable or interesting are the times that I spent with my friends and the events they had every year going on at school. It was quite interesting just being around the same group of people that I shared the same religion with and the same beliefs. So that was just an interesting thing about being at a school that everybody shared the same beliefs or the same goals, and the families all went to church to the same church or the same religious church, and that was just something quite interesting. And of course, it was also memorable to have those experiences. One thing I do remember is every Wednesday we had what was called chapel, and we had to wear a certain type of uniform on that day. We could only wear that uniform that day. And it was like it was a skirt with like plaid, and then it was our polos, and then we had like a little tie up at the top for the boys, and I had to wear specific shoes and stockings, so it was quite interesting. But I do remember I looked forward to going to chapel because we would sing fun songs, and they would have like a devotion for us, and it was something that I really enjoyed. And it was probably just because it was that structure, and that that I knew it was going to come every Wednesday, and I was around my friends, and it was just a lot of fun to have that experience. So that brings me to question number 5. Do I remember any of my friends, and or who my friends were? I do. To be honest with you, I don't have contact with any of them from elementary school. We kind of just went all different ways, and going into high school, I definitely went into a different path, and I never really kept into contact with them, and I don't even live in the same city or state as them now. But I do see them now here and then on other social media platforms, but I do remember my experiences with them, and I cherish them. I have pictures, I have memory books, scrapbooks that I've made when I was younger, and it was something that I truly cherished. I had really great friends in elementary, and really, really great experiences. They were also so sweet. Of course, we have those moments where we didn't get along, and there were some bad moments as well, but I do remember having really great friends growing up, and hanging out, doing sports together, going to events together, and we had a group of girls who we'd hang out with, and then there was like a group of boys. Of course, it was that age group where everyone did their own thing, the girls and the boys. And I do remember some pictures we took together being silly, and just having those girl time experiences. I do remember those really clearly. There were a couple of us. There was about 4 of us, or 3 of us, and then the 4th girl came on later in elementary, and then she became one of my best friends in my elementary experiences. And she was so great. She was Portuguese, and she spoke also English and Portuguese, and it was really nice to have a friend she was from the same religion, but from a different church that I had never been to. And then I finally got to go, and it was just all so different because Spanish and Portuguese have some similar sounds, so sometimes I'd pick it up. But it was just nice to have a friend from another culture, and just kind of share some of those experiences together. Okay, so the 6th question is, as an educator now, do I do anything similar that was similar to my 4th grade teachers? So I think I mentioned this a little bit ago, but all of the hands-on experiences and learning that I had when I was younger followed me as an educator now. I truly believe that hands-on learning and fun experiences that relate to students are those experiences that will really stick to students. And they're going to take them along with them, just as I did as an adult. So those are some of the things that I do similar now as an educator. I do have those experiences that I've learned from, and that I feel like I have grown into an educator that I want my students to remember things. I want them to remember those experiences and take them along with them as they get older, into their college years, adult years, into high school years. And I think that it's important as an educator to learn from your experiences, whether they're good, whether they're bad, as well as just taking them and learning from them. So I think that as an educator now, I do things similar to when I was in school, and what my 4th grade teachers did, but I've also learned to tweak it a little, whether it worked, whether it didn't work, and really truly reflect on whether my students are gaining anything from it. Okay, so that is all the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learning a little bit more about me and my 4th grade experiences, and how it was to be taking a memory jog into my elementary years, and I truly believe that this video has really made me think, really made me reflect on, as a fourth grade teacher, whether my experiences in the classroom are benefiting my students and helping them to grow and learn. I really enjoyed this tag video. Thank you so much, the Spanish Maestra, for putting this together. And guys, don't forget to go and check out some of the other teacher YouTubers. I have all linked them down in the description with a playlist list for you guys. Just click on the playlist to go and see all of the other videos as well. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up for me if you enjoyed it, and go and subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. Click on the notification bell to be notified for future videos as well. I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao for now.